There's also a lot subject about black women that I want to talk about related to wrestling this week specifically. So the marketing endeavors, because Josh, if you just look at how the die are rolling. So with Triple H, I don't see color comment. Okay, we know that's not true because that was a misstep. And I don't think Triple H is racist, but I think that was a goof, and I think that he's not as aware as he probably should be of just dynamics and things like that. But WWE has been on a roll with getting these different marketing and advertising and partnerships with these people who appeal to black women. Specifically, Meg Thee Stallion does a SmackDown theme song with their network debut, and you know how black women they worship Meg Thee Stallion. I mean this in the most literal fact. They worship Meg Thee Stallion, and then you have some do, but a large population of them do. And then you have Cardi B is going to be in the SummerSlam, and then they have the Sexyy Red doing the NXT. And then she's on Raw again. What demographic are these women appealing to? Ain't appealing to me. And then it's like the occasional dude or something like that. So you're appealing to them. And then yesterday, they had the opportunity to that whole show. That was probably the blackest show we've seen ever. I've never seen that many black wrestlers on a show. In terms of screen time, maybe not so much. But if you look at the women's tag match, that was 4 black women in one event. And then you had Nia Jax versus Naomi. That was another one. And just how they're presented overall. And then also like the character and the implications of that. I think there's a lot to be said about that. You didn't pick up on any of that?
No, I wasn't really thinking about it, but it's interesting that you're saying that this is a result of Triple H's comment.
I don't know if it's an exact result. I mean, the timing is kind of funny because it's like right after.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying just as because the comment was on Saturday night at the press conference, and then they go down to NXT and grab them. But I think there's something deeper at play there, and this is something that affects like the black male talent too. Is how they're presented. Do you remember a few weeks ago how I said the black male talent don't really have characters? They're just cool black guys.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about this today. Jade and Bianca versus the Meta Girls. Who are they?
Who, the Meta Girls?
Yeah, the two black women that they were fighting. Like character-wise, who are they?
If you didn't know, I'm Lash Legend the Bougie Bully, and I'm Jakara Jackson, but you will address me as Miss Jackson.
To me, it seemed like they were fighting themselves.
No, probably a more cocky version, probably. But
I'm saying like they don't have any real character though. Like what separates Bianca from Jade? Like if you look at people who have character, Josh, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Solo Sikoa has character.
Are you saying that's a infliction on WWE and Triple H or the black wrestlers?
It's a combination. Because the black wrestlers, they don't have character at all. None of them do. They're just cool athletic black people. Trick Williams, Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, they're the same person. They come out with those damn shades. They're oiled up, athletic dudes. They talk. They have the jive talk, the ebonics, and they do that kind of stuff. But think about it. Like the other ethnicities the wrestlers have, the Kabuki Warriors, even them, the LWO, they had a faction type of deal. They have who's some other characters. They haven't been that great with ethnic talent, I will admit though, and quite recent, like to make them diverse, because they like to put them all in the LWO with Rey Mysterio and fade into obscurity. But like I said, Drew McIntyre, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu has a character, Gunther has a character. None of the black talent have characters. They just cool black people. with generic rap music as intro music.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a matter of presentation, and it also falls like there's a certain amount that falls on us and a certain amount that falls on the company. But I would say the wrestlers, they have a lot more freedom when it comes to these things, especially now that Vince is gone, because he's not around. And you saw when he was around how the black talent was treated. There was occasional ones that he liked. Like he liked Bobby Lashley a lot, even though he put him in bad storylines. He said that he did it intentionally, and Bobby said that as well. he wanted to get Bobby uncomfortable so he could start to see the different nuances and what he could do. So that's why I put him in dumb stuff. I didn't like it, but there was a method to it. But Vince was the same guy who put Crime Time together, who thought that two black guys from Brooklyn stealing shit and had segments with people alluding to using the N-word with that lawyer on stage, and then ultimately using the N-word himself, was a good idea. I mean, it's dated now. For sure, he can say that, yeah, some of the stuff didn't age well, but I never would have thought that was a good idea as a white man in, 2008, 2009, 10? So, my point is Vince is gone, so that stuff is not as prevalent. That I think Triple H is much more aware and has his ear to the ground, but he still isn't listening as much, you know? Like, the bar was in hell when it comes to Vince being tone deaf, and Triple H is like up here, but there's still like a significant gap. And I think Triple H is just looking at what pushes attention and revenue. Women are the largest group of consumers in the United States, by far. It's not even close. And yeah, that's the market they're going after. And I think this is directly on the back of Naomi, because Naomi, a few years ago, when she came back, a lot of people were really clamoring for her. Like women who didn't even watch wrestling, Josh. I remember seeing this on Twitter when she first came back. They were really excited because they saw a black woman like performing in like the Royal Rumble or something like that, and she had her hair and she was unapologetically her. Like this was when Naomi was really popular. And somebody, I remember there's a tweet that said I might have to restart watching wrestling again. It was a bunch of women retweeting this shit, and they're getting into it. And yeah, I mean it's just another audience that they're tapping into. It's the same thing when they tried to make Jinder Mahal the world champion. Josh, I'm onto something, man. Let me write that down. They're just trying to appeal to a demographic instead of making a quality product. I understand, like, it's one thing to get your foot in the door, but it's another thing to actually live there and actually feel at home. And not saying feel as in terms of like you being welcomed, but make yourself deserving of being the homeowner. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm just putting you as a figurehead because you're a black guy. It's like, nah, you're in here. Yes, you are black, but you're the best entertainer that we have in the company. That's a very different thing. But instead of just propping people up, that's why the Jinder Mahal experiment failed. Because he was just in India, he sucked in the ring. Seems like he's a great guy, but he just sucked. He wasn't entertaining. Wasn't good. And yeah, that's the difference, man. Like they dropped the ball at Bianca Belair. You don't think so? How? Because if you think about what she has all the makings that they could have as being the face of the division, and they had done this in the past with wrestlers like Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, who's the other one? Not as much Bayley, but Sasha Banks, to a degree, but mainly Becky Lynch and Charlotte. And we really haven't had a woman at the forefront like that. And I think Bianca has a lot of range. If you look at what she done, Bianca used to be a heel in NXT, and she was beating ass. I'm talking like running up on him in the back of the, like Kevin Owens. That was Bianca Belair, and she has a tremendous amount of range, and she's very likable. She's very marketable, and their insistence on this Jade Cargill experiment, I understand in theory what it could have done, but the belts don't feel any more important as a consequence of them owning it because they had that stutter stop experience, and then they also don't have any credible contenders, so it's not like they're having classics.
Yeah, I think with Bianca, I still think she's definitely on their way there, but they're just doing the Jade Cargo experiment, just having her team over Jade. But I do think a big thing is on the horizon where she's going to go back to that main event status and be the women's champion again.
For sure.
Yeah, as far as the characters when it comes to the black wrestlers, I get what you mean, but it's always been like that. And I think you know that, even with Vince, like just them prioritizing revenue rather than the quality of the actual product. And I do think that it's always been like that because black characters have never had an actual character really. Like they
King Booker.
They've always been like the same. Yeah.
Oh.
King Booker, you're right. And then it's just
the black wrestlers they've never had character.
yeah. Does Damian Priest have a character? He's not really black. He's more Puerto Rican, but
He's definitely Puerto Rican. Yeah, he does have a character.
Does Obafemi have a character?
I said Obafemi does.
Okay.
He's like one of the exceptions. The New Day, is
it more because Obafemi isn't an African American? He's more of an African from another country, which is more
authentic. He can lean into that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do believe so.
Rather than African American, he's just a rapper or cool
Correct.
entertainer. So I think a lot of that is that too. And WWE sees that like, oh, they want to see the rapper black guy. They don't want to like black guy with a character. What the fuck does it mean? That is his character, like the party guy. He doesn't give a he can fly. He can I do think that's the main component here, really.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Did you know that? So even with the New Day, how they broke the mold, I don't necessarily agree with like a bunch of black men shaking their asses and stuff like that. And I wasn't a fan of it. But the New Day, they are great. I do like them. They do a little bit too much. And one of the things that was so interesting about Kofi Kingston is that originally he was supposed to be Jamaican. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Kofi was Jamaican. He's not Jamaican. You know where he's from?
What, Africa or something?
Ghana.
I was about to say Ghana.
His family is Ghanaian. And they had him playing a Jamaican. And that was typical Vince. But he had Prince Hakeem. He had a white guy playing a light-skinned black man with a kufi on his head back in the 90s. Vince McMahon, yes. He also had Owen Hart join the Nation of Domination. An all-black faction with The Rock, Farouk, Mark Henry, and D'Lo Brown, with Ahmed Johnson as well. So that's the point. But I'm making that. I mean, Kofi, he breaks the mold. Like the New Day, they all break the mold. They have character.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the few exceptions on the main roster when it comes to black wrestlers that do anything different. Like imagine like if Carmelo Hayes was doing the stuff that Karrion Kross was doing. Even though Karrion Kross sucks, I mean, in a kayfabe perspective, imagine if Carmelo Hayes was the one backstage doing things like that. That'd be his character, but he doesn't have that. His character is just he got shades and he's arrogant. Take his shades away, who is he? Generic wrestler number 5. Skin tone number 7.